Good evening, lacrosse fans, and welcome to Onondaga Nation Arena in Syracuse, New York, where we are for the bronze medal game between Goldstar Tel Aviv and USA White. I'm Chuck Jaffe, and I'm joined by Steven Stamp. We will be calling the action for you tonight. This game, we need to tell you a little bit about the format. So both of these teams lost semifinal games. USA White to Thompson Brothers, Goldstar Tel Aviv to the USA Blue team. Those teams will meet in the next game for the finals. But in this game, we're going back to the 15-minute running halves that have been the standard here at LAS NAI. And we are going to have one timeout per half and 1-minute penalties as we've had throughout. So Goldstar Tel Aviv gets the first real possession here. And for anybody who is surprised that this team finished, is playing in the bronze medal game, and they gave USA Blue a one-goal game, remember that in the last World Championships, 2015 FIL World Championships here, Israel, in their first World Games, finished fourth. So Kyle Bergman comes over the top. Good defensive pressure there, forces the turnover. And so the USA will try to get a break right out the box, but solid defense stops that. And the ball bounces away. And Israel goes back onto the attack. Dan Applebaum with it. Forgive us for doing a quick test, Stephen. We've been having some mic troubles and trying to make sure we got it right.
Yeah, I think I'm working. My mic is working. I just can't hear you very well. So
well, nobody's ever accused me of being quiet, but we understand that this may be a technical difficulty problem.
Yeah.
So.
I think we'll be okay. I'll be fine. It's just louder in here than it has been.
So the USA goes back on the attack. Here's Blaze Reardon. Nick Mariano. And Nick Mariano with the jump shot to the far corner. Slides that in, and it's 1-0 Team USA.
We've been seeing a lot of jump shots this weekend, and it is really a coming attraction of lacrosse, replacing a lot of dive shots. But that was a very vertical jump shot by Nick Mariano, showing the hops as he got way up in the air, a la Josh Byrne. A style that you don't see as much. It's usually more horizontal.
Yeah, and Josh Byrne, of course, top draft pick last year. Mariano was drafted last year, is going to be in camp with the New England Black Wolves. And so it's the kind of thing that they're going to want to be seeing. And again, it's the athleticism. The one thing we've noticed here, both good and bad, is the athleticism of all the teams that have made it this far, but particularly the Team USA squads. So they're back on the attack again. Still heavy left. That one over the top from Jojo Marasco. And Israel brings that ball forward.
And we're seeing Taylor Stewart playing forward once again. He's gone back to play defense. He is mostly a D guy, but he's wearing number 5 for USA White and playing up front quite a bit.
Well, the other one who I want to see who really showed in the last game was Gail Thorpe, who, of course, missed the early rounds because he's playing at Ohio State. And Jacob Lazor corrals the loose ball. Scott Ditzel brings the ball forward. Gives that to Mariano. Speak of the devil, Thorpe is the trail lefty with the silver helmet, number 16. Connor Busick. Busick drives down the lane, switches back, tries for the power drive, but a lot of pressure there from Doug Udding from Goldstar Tel Aviv.
It looks like we've got some penalties coming here with Stewart driving, is it Stewart going in?
Doug
Udding.
Busick driving in.
And Doug Udding going. Udding pushed him to the ground into the crease, then gave him the late cross check afterwards. I think the respawn dead ball of contact by Busick. And Doug Udding, if you were watching the semifinals, had a spectacular performance against USA Blue.
Well, let's confirm that, yes, we do have matching penalties. So we're 5-on-5, and it's Goldstar's ball. They get their offense out. Deckelbaum, Dan Deckelbaum on the left, along with Kyle Bergman, and then it's a heavy right-hand set. Shot from the outside by Zach Paul. Lazor tries to hit the long one. Looking now for the trailer. That's Stewart, as you said. And there's Trevor Baptiste. Baptiste now heads for the bench. Stewart, and he steps into the crease. We're going to have a penalty here. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. We should explain that, I mean, you always see a team defend its goalie.
Yes.
But Israel has maybe a little bit more to defend it. They are playing their backup goalie because their starting goalie, Jared Jensen, got hurt in the semis, basically in a collision play.
Yeah, Chris Doherty went into the crease, and there was some contact beforehand, but they certainly felt it was avoidable contact, him going in to the goaltender.
And so with this schedule, basically Jensen, who has played brilliantly throughout most of the tournament, Jensen played a brilliant game against USA Blue. With the short layoff, basically, he stiffened up. So you can understand why they do it. Danny Bielowski picks up the loose ball. Bielowski, a Tufts product, and he gets mugged there, loses. That would be the second stick he has broken if that stick is broken.
I think he just abandoned that one because he saw that he'd lost it.
Noah Molnar gets stripped. Nice effort there. Blaze Reardon and Nick Mariano, now the lefties, as USA gets a freshman. Well, he broke that stick on Dominique Alexander, and you heard it all the way. I was sitting at the top of the rafters.
He was coming off the bench, and Alexander driving to the net.
Full head of steam, and he stood there and took – he stood on the train tracks and stopped it, by the way. Alexander, but, man, did he snap that stick. So, long pass ahead. This one bounces all the way to Lazor.
They were running out of time on the 10-second count and decided to just chuck it the length of the floor, give themselves a bit of a chance to breathe.
Well, Israel, Goldstar had the longer layoff, and I don't know if that's good or bad. And there's Reardon across the crease. The little feed from Marasco, who got onto the wrong side of the field, was able to get it, and Blaze Reardon stuck it home just before he would have fallen into the crease.
Blaze Reardon, one of the most improved box lacrosse players on the planet over the last 2 years.
And how good does he, like, I think people think about Blaze from his Albany days.
Yes.
And they think, oh, he was the heavy goalie who had the great hands and who kind of ran up the field and then would shoot.
Yeah.
There's nothing heavy about Blaze Reardon at this point. He looks great.
Very hard, looks fit, he's moving very well, and he's not only worked on his body, he's worked on his lacrosse IQ. He is a very smart player now.
Trevor Baptiste with the layout, and they say that it's good, and that's where Baptiste is. If he's going to make this team, he's going to make it because he can do that.
Yeah, and what a drive, Baptiste. We've seen this. Now, you don't often see in his field game where he's winding up so close, going into the crease quite as much. He tends to shoot a bit more on the run, a couple steps outside the crease.
And we had the discussion that in getting ready and playing out in the Colorado leagues, he was playing forward. And I think you and I both said we think if he's going to make this team and the Philadelphia Wings, who drafted him, he's going to do it as a transition player. There is a difference to playing transition offense and playing offense, playing forward.
Yes. Penalty coming to USA White. That ball's going to roll back over center. Oh, I guess they said, yeah, okay.
Adam Fishman, they said he didn't step over, but then he did.
He was standing on the other side of center when he got
exactly.
it. I thought for a second maybe they were saying it had touched the U.S. player, but then they recognized the error, and away we go. So the U.S. off to a fast start. And like you said, is it better in a situation where you're going to have not a lot of rest, just an hour or two, to have the hour and just be ready to go again and not have as much time to stiffen up with all the banging they've taken in 5 games over this tournament in 3 days?
And even though the games are short, they have been very physical. So it's Deckelbaum, Bergman on the left-hand side, Zach Paul with Adam Fishman and Eric Fisher. Fishman fires that off of Lazor. Fishman and Fisher going after it. Fisher comes away with it, feeds it across. Deckelbaum. So Fisher gets the loose ball on the little 2-man corner play with Fishman, drives the net and feeds a driving Dan Deckelbaum, who cashes that one in to make it 3-1.
And it all starts when Fisher's right on the crease, tries to grab the loose ball, rebound, and spins. It actually goes over into the boards, but he is there so quickly that he's able to start that scrum process. As you said, Fishman really helped out. He got it, but such great awareness, and the other thing, the perfect spot with the pass.
Well, and Eric Fisher, for those who don't know, is a goalie in field lacrosse, although in Israel he played both in the cage a little bit and he played out of the cage. Trevor Baptiste with a late check, gonna be called for delay of game because he knocked, it was gonna be orange ball, and he knocked Zach Paul's stick out.
That's a dead ball contact foul. Zach Paul getting into it a little bit.
Yeah, with Yazoo Scaparotto. And Yaz got into it in the last game and wound up getting a 3-minute major for a very hard check on Lyle Thompson. You talk about the layoff time. You got to wonder how stiff Lyle's going to be after that one because it was brutal. So they just scored a man-up goal. Now they have another opportunity for it, and they're going to be 2 men up in just a second. Deckelbaum rips that one wide. Zach Paul comes and catches it. They get it back to Bergman, and he shoots it directly into the chest of Ethan O'Connor, and they score again. So they shot the ball into the chest of O'Connor, picked it up.
And Doug Hutting, who was brilliant in the last game, but he's a defender, he heads out to be the 6th attacker on that play and fires one down low. And they were trying to get the shot early because obviously you get that shot and you get the 5-on-3 if it's stopped. But even better is to get the goal on the shot.
Yes. So we have the odd situation that Baptiste is still being shown as having a penalty, but he's out taking the faceoff. His penalty would have released on the goal. So we're back to even strength.
Oh, and it's a 3-minute major to Ethan O'Connor. Not that surprising. It was up in the head area, but O'Connor's gone for 3 minutes. This could be huge.
So we've got 2 man-up goals already, and now they're back at it. And USA without one of its key defenders in O'Connor.
And he is one of their key penalty killers.
Yes.
At the top of the penalty kill.
So you've got the same lineup for Israel. It's the same 5. Zach Paul from the outside, stopped by Lazor, picked up by Matt Dunn. Moved ahead.
John Rannigan's moved to the top, and he's a very good penalty killer as well, but they don't have that much time to get there anyway, so there's even less familiarity now on the PK unit.
Well, and remember, because Team USA did split their teams pretty much evenly, and there's a shorthanded goal from Connor Busick. Busick from the outside. And I want to come back to Busick in just a second, but because they also split it evenly, you don't get to say, okay, we can really suffer the loss of one of the bell cows.
Right.
You got 1 or 2 guys that you can't lose because you don't have your usual 4. For the, if you had Ethan O'Connor and Brett Manny on this team, you'd be less concerned with the 3-minute man down.
Yeah.
So Connor Busick with that shot, he likes to drop his hands. It's very much a field lacrosse shot, and it's effective in box lacrosse if you get it on the frame, and then they just pass it back and forth over the line. So another sloppy play. Baptiste.
Yeah, and you can run back over the line. You have the one zone on the face-off. You can't throw it back over, and that's just a mental error.
He just needs to know better than that. So now you've got a heavy left set. So Udding, who got a goal, is staying out and playing high on the left-hand side. So it's Deckelbaum, and this is the first time we've seen a heavy left set. Fishman stays high right. Fishman, a Dartmouth product. Deckelbaum, who played for a number of years in the NLL. And now Rannigan brings that forward, gets it ahead. So the USA, again, with shorthanded goal, and the great shooters that they've got, and, Busick was shooting near the end of that shot clock, but one of the things that we've talked about, great athletes on Team USA, not necessarily great box players, all learning the game. How much do you sort of dislike the shot selection? I mean, that was the overhand, but that's been the rare opportunity. When they cut to the middle, Jojo Marasco, Connor Busick, et cetera, we're seeing them shoot sidearm shots that look very much to me like field lacrosse.
And I'll tell you, I watch a ton of CLA lacrosse, of junior and major lacrosse in the summer in Ontario primarily, where I'm based, and it drives coaches nuts there with the kids all shooting underhand. The sidearm shots, they are constantly saying, shoot overhand. You have so many more options. Watch Cody Jamieson, and you will see one of the best shooters around, and he's always shooting overhand. except for the rare occasion. That's touched off the U.S., so the Goldstar will get it back.
But almost under a minute remaining in to half, and of course the USA, it's now Jake Pulver in the box for the USA, as he had gotten into it as we were discussing shooting styles. Fishman can't corral that one. Ditzel brings it forward. 25 seconds remaining on the clock as the USA. And that basically will get them to where the penalty is over. There'll be 1 second of carryover for the penalty, it appears. Shot clock, however, will make the USA have to do something here before it ends. Reardon dishes it back out, but can't be handled. And there's some back and forth behind the play. We'll see if the refs step in and send anything off, but assuming that they don't, we come to the end of it.
Because Nick Mariano 3 times hits Jake Silverleg in the face with his stick.
Exactly.
Now, they were battling, and I think it may have looked worse than it really was, because Silverleg was kind of pushing back and forth, and it looked like he may have actually almost pulled the stick into his own face, at least on one occasion.
But they stuck with it, and so they allowed him to get away with it.
Yeah.
We have to get away from the action to pay the bills, so we're going to do that. But you are watching the third and fourth place, the bronze medal game between USA White and Goldstar Tel Aviv from the Lax All-Stars North American Invitational. Brought to you by Nike Lacrosse. We'll be right back with the second half in just a moment.
What is the future of sport? The next evolution of athlete? Well, we hypothesize that athletes will develop the sixth sense, if you will. Extremely heightened instincts. If you look across the animal kingdom, a sixth sense is innate to many species. With the right tools, our athletes can acquire an inexplicable connection to see without seeing, to feel without feeling, to do things that for thousands of years didn't seem humanly possible.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Welcome back to the second half of the action in the bronze medal game between USA White and Goldstar Tel Aviv. Goldstar hoped to earn a sort of the scalp that everybody wanted coming to the Onondaga Nation was who was going to be able to knock off Team USA. It wound up being the Thompson brothers. They knocked off Team USA White. Team USA Blue is a one-goal game with Goldstar. So we have this game for third place, and then we will have the gold medal game between Thompson brothers and USA Blue.
And that's going to be a dandy.
Baptiste, who scored an early goal, wins that faceoff, gets it into Reardon. They're going to say the goal is no good. They say he stepped in. I thought he got pushed in.
Doesn't really matter as long as it's not an illegal push. If he's in the crease, he's in the
Correct.
crease. So I think it's fair. It wasn't an egregious push for sure.
So USA back on offense. Zach Paul. That shot from Fishman wide.
And I know you knew that. I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure
Well,
it's clear for anyone.
Right, and then I did it without saying it because I sort of thought it was borderline. I thought that push was obviously aimed at getting a significant advantage, and it was a pretty full extension to get there. So I wouldn't have been, as a fan, I would not have been upset because I don't like to see ticky-tack fouls. I don't think we need to have more penalties in this game.
No, there have been a lot here.
Too much on the pick, gives the ball back to Goldstar, trailing by 2 into the second half. Remember, we were playing 15-minute halves in this game. When we play the final game, we will be playing 10-minute quarters. And although the games are shortened, when you play this many games in short time, that's why guys are exhausted. David Mathers with the save. Mathers in for the second half.
And that, again, consistent with what the U.S. has been doing, splitting the goalies halfway through.
Mathers makes that stop, although it did sort of seem surprised that the ball got through. And pickup comes away. Yazo Scaparrotta is very physical. The former Brown defender. And that's a case, and we've been talking about it off the air. We should talk about it a little bit on, and we have to do it around the action as Noah Molnar brings it forward, of Yazo Scaparrotta being a great athlete, but not a good box player. And we see that a lot out of the U.S. They are superior athletes. They are incredibly fast, strong, great hands, all those other sorts of things, but they are routinely taking shots that maybe their shot selection leaves more than a little to be desired, right, Stephen?
I mean, too many against the U.S. But yes, we feel like they've been forcing some shots in transition, and it's tempting. I mean, you get up there and you have an opportunity, you feel like you want to help your team by getting a transition goal, but there are other times where you just have to have the sense that you need to pull out and help your team by establishing possession.
Value every possession. If you can get a quality shot, then it's okay. But if you're not getting a quality shot, every possession should end with a quality shot if that's, you're not trying to kill a penalty or what have you. And speaking of killing penalties, the USA is man down again. So Bergman gets that over to Deckelbaum, hands free, face dodge. Fisher can't pick it up. He kicks it around, and Fishman does pick it up.
Yeah.
Ditzel needs to be careful, or he's going to wind up getting an unsportsmanlike.
And I'm not sure why he's so heated, because that was clearly a loose ball push, and he's actually, I think, lucky he didn't get a penalty. But I think that the intensity has been ramping up through these games.
Well, Fisher with a great play knocked it down, knocked the pass down without interfering. Ditzel needs to be careful again, because he sort of seems to be angry and swinging that stick without much intent.
And I think that some of this emotion is carrying over from the previous games where, I mean, they just, it's just been ramping up, and it's 6 games in 3 days.
Yes, but so are the World Championships.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
And so if you're going to play, I mean, as Rannigan gets into it with Bergman down low, always dangerous, tries the little flip, does Deckelbaum. And they run out of time on the possession. The penalty has expired. Ethan O'Connor will bring the ball forward. Starts it off with that little flip, and here's Taylor Stewart. Fed in front, Gail Thorpe denied by Davy Jones. Jones, the reserve goalkeeper, playing because Jared Jensen got injured.
And a penalty coming here, and a little cross-check, and again, some frustration, but it really appears the refs are trying to gain control of this game because they sense that it's teetering on the edge of getting a little out of control.
Well, and by the way, that sort of happens a little bit in tournaments where you get to, like, we've been very pleased throughout the day here at Lax All-Stars North American Invitational about the good quality of sportsmanship. But every now and again, when a game doesn't matter, guys sort of make it matter from the last one. Nice shot, cross crease movement, but hit off the foot of Jones. Apparently got a piece, USA got a piece, and then the ball went out of bounds. So Udding brings it forward. Udding sort of a jack of all trades for Team Israel.
And it is Israel shorthanded. Chris Friedman, number 26, getting the penalty. It's up on the wrong side of the board, so that kind of confused us a bit.
And now we've got a penalty coming again against Israel. And here's Ethan O'Connor, and this is good from the USA standpoint because then they wind up throwing it away. You had 20-plus seconds.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking, normally you take the shot right away and get the 5-on-3, but when there was only, I think it was about 16 seconds as O'Connor had that. So it kind of makes sense, or maybe a bit less. It got down to about 10 by the time he was shooting.
Right, they would have had the man advantage and the extra man time, and then if they couldn't do it when they were 6-on-5 or 6-on-4, because now we get the first Israeli penalty over, first gold star, I should say. Busick, there's that underhand shot from Busick, stopped by Jones. Picked up by Marasco to Busick, and he feeds it across to Blaze Reardon, and Reardon nets his second of the game.
Yeah, and Blaze Reardon was the Sportsmanship Award winner last year at this tournament, and I will be stunned if he is not on the all-tournament team this year. He has been sensational. And when you brought up the idea of shot selection and shot selection, I was going to say the clear exception is Blaze Reardon, who has been, I mean, it's unbelievable watching him. Actually, this is the third year in a row at this tournament, and it's incredible how much he's improved.
But that's the other side. Remember, we talked about this we talked about shot selection as it affects the Americans because they are superior athletes. Yeah. And it's the athletes dialing up the lacrosse. Blaze Reardon started the other way. He was a superior young lacrosse player. So he had the lacrosse IQ and the great hands before he had the body to back it up.
And he did point out this weekend to me that he's been playing box lacrosse for a long time. It was just a very different style.
Ditzel threw both his stick and the Israeli player to the ground, allowed the loose ball to come out to Trevor Baptiste. A sloppy little flip there, and just a thrown away possession. Except for the fact that we have a penalty coming on Team Israel. So we wind up with Israel going into the box. And Team USA, lucky that they didn't have that thrown away possession because it was a thrown away possession. So too many men. Busick, now it's with Marasco. Busick gets it back, fires that one straight overhand, and a nice stop there by Davy Jones. But a push down low gives it back to the U.S. Busick running in ahead of Utting. Off the post from Mariano. Loose ball to Reardon. Marasco to Reardon. Back to Marasco. Stopped by Jones. Utting tries to disrupt it, but Busick kicks it away, and Marasco comes up with the loosey. So still heavy left set. Penalty about to be released. But quality chances for the USA as Applebaum comes out of the box. Marasco tried to take the extra step, and good play by the Israeli defense down low. Now a push gives the ball back to the U.S. So this has been a long possession. Tired Gold Star defense. Fed in front. Reardon can't handle it. But now Utting's got to worry about him being behind. Feeds it in front, and there's a goal. It's Reardon feeding Nick Mariano. We're watching some of the action afterwards.
The box. I think the ref ran over. Oh, maybe he didn't make contact because Mariano with the goal. Beautiful feed by Blaze Reardon. And Mariano taps it home. Terrific little touch play. What a contrast to the shot that he took moments earlier that rang off the post, and you could hear the ping from him.
Right. And just that was a great possession. And let's remember that possession started with the USA throwing the ball away, but Israel getting too many men. You know, this is why we say honor every possession, get everything you can, because those little mistakes, they become big ones. Here's Baptiste. Nice face-off and good possession. Slows things down. Getting away from the bench is Ranigan. And now the USA gets the entire set out. It's the same offense that was out there, except Gail Thorpe is on the floor. Busick shot low. That's that sidearm. We saw the overhand, which ironically might have looked like the easier save, but that was the tougher shot. And the sidearms, he's had a bunch and missed a few. Bergman's shot stopped by Mathers. But Busick, forced to come back and play defense, is going to the box.
And Israel had Bergman coming off the bench there, despite being in a position where you'd expect the righty, but Fisher was the only one. They probably should have had Fisher coming, but I think they're a little short-handed, a little short-staffed for some folks that have to leave. I know.
Well, they only have they have three righties, and basically, and they're playing. You know, when Utting's playing forward, and now you've got their righties. It's Fisher, Fishman, and Paul. Bergman to Deckelbaum, stopped by Mathers. Loose ball kicking around. Mathers covers. I'm not in love with that. Almost, there you go. Yeah. I'm not in love with that's, Mathers doesn't have, where some of the goalies that we've seen here have the I can throw it anywhere on the floor skill set. That is not Mathers' skill set. That's
tricky for Taylor Stewart as he's standing right at center as the ball arrives. And I think he was trying to get back over center before he received the pass, but it was just as he caught the ball, he stepped across. That's no man's land.
So Fishman gives the ball back to Paul. Now Fisher. On the wing, Deckelbaum gets his own rebound. Goes behind the back to Fisher. Up high to Fishman. Now keeping it moving. Bergman shot wide. But still plenty of time on the shot clock as Deckelbaum reclaims it. But we're back to even strength. And Fisher, with a nice move to the net, draws the hold. And Ditzel, if he was unhappy before, he's not going to be any happier now because he's going back to the box. And Team USA has given Goldstar plenty of opportunities, but you can see Goldstar's Fisher is hurting. Zach Paul is hurting. I mean, when we talked about Kyle Bergman coming out of sync, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, they're pretty banged up. They are short-staffed. Solomon had to leave. They don't have Molnar. It's tough when you're getting that short on the offensive end of the bench.
Well, they do have Molnar. He's dressed, but he comes out the back end. He's one of the guys you might have thought they'd move forward if they needed him.
Sorry, my bad.
But Deckelbaum trying to carry the load. Good opportunities. Fishman corrals the rebound.
What a creative opportunity there for Fisher, spinning and flinging it as he went around.
And Fisher is a small guy. Like we said, he plays goalie. But when he's here, he's mixing it up, and you see him doing it there again. And he's going at it now with O'Connor. And now he's just trying to draw a penalty, I think.
Yeah, and he should have. He's got to get one there. There he gets it with the Rusty Gate, the little swing. He's going to get it now.
Here's Rannigan. There's Davy Jones again. So
big save.
So with Ditzel's penalty about to expire, the USA will get another opportunity. And, of course, we are in stop time. So a frustrated Eric Fisher heads to the box. And they've put his penalty on the same side. We keep having that issue where they're putting penalties on the wrong side. But we know what's going on. It's USA. Man up, and again, this time Gail Thorpe down low in the spot that had otherwise been Marasco's. He's got the ball now. Busick fed it into Mariano, who was too close to the crease, so they're going to say he stepped in. Reardon wants the push, but the truth is, and a little, Gail Thorpe with a little back and forth to Danny Bielowski. And Danny B would not back down from anybody. He did not like that as he took that extra little shot. Quick swing back. Danny played at Tufts, a Division III stalwart. His brother was a Division III All-American as well. So here's Udding with the ball, 30 seconds roughly remaining. 15 on the penalty. Penalty coming because there's always going to be a penalty coming when somebody loses their helmet. And in this case, the helmet belonged to Jake Silberlicht. So 22.7 seconds left. It is pretty much all over, but the celebration, the handshakes, and the announcements of the game stars. But then we'll take a short break and we'll be back with the finals. Steven will be on the call for that. And it's going to should be a great one between USA Blue and Thompson Brothers at the Lacrosse All-Stars North American Invitational, brought to you by Nike Lacrosse. So Fisher's out of the box with 12 seconds left. Zach Paul with that shot. Mathers up to the task. Ball kicks around, and we come to the end of the action. But a very, very entertaining game here for the bronze medal at the Lacrosse All-Stars North American Invitational. They will be momentarily awarding the stars of the game. We can tell you who they are.
The third star.
Well, let's start with the third star of the game.
I said,
the third star.
Yeah. From Tel Aviv, Dan Deckelbaum was fantastic in their semifinal. Again, a solid effort using his strength, the variety of shots. Really just an impressive effort.
Well, and the star of this game, because with them depleted, he really carried the load on offense. He scored one of their 2 goals, but he was their most consistent threat.
Yes. The second star, scoring a goal, but also, again, similarly, carrying a lot of the load offensively for the USA is Nick Mariano.
Yep, Mariano with 2 of the team's 6 goals. He was not necessarily the leading point getter. The leading point getter did a lot more than get the points, didn't he? He got our first star.
Blaze Reardon, I thought, was head and shoulders the best player on the floor in this game.
Yeah, if Blaze Reardon now for this performance and what he's done this week is not on Team USA. Now remember, he was on Team USA in 2015.
Well, it's interesting because in 2015, he was a depth player, and people were surprised that he made it. And when you watched him at the Worlds, he was good, but it was like, you could have had other people. You could make the argument. He didn't. He certainly belonged, but he wasn't a key guy. He is a central figure for USA going into 2019.
Yes, absolutely, and it was very obvious that he's got a lot going on, and he's going to be essential if Team USA is going to be able to do what it wants to do, which is be in the finals. They couldn't get to the finals with this Team USA white. They did with blue, and the finals are what's coming up. So the guys are lining up for trophy presentations. We are going to take our break and get ready because we got to come back and bring you one more game. But our third place game, USA White wins the bronze medal at the Lax All-Stars North American Invitational. Goldstar Tel Aviv finishes 4th. It is USA White 6, Goldstar Tel Aviv 2. On behalf of Steven Stamp, who will be here calling the championship game in a few moments, I'm Chuck Jaffe. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more from LASNAI, brought to you by Nike Lacrosse in just a moment.
What is the future of sport? The next evolution of athlete? Well, we hypothesized that athletes will develop the sixth sense, if you will, extremely heightened instincts. If you look across the animal kingdom, a sixth sense is innate to many species. With the right tools, our athletes can acquire an inexplicable connection to see without seeing, to feel without feeling, to do things that for thousands of years didn't seem humanly possible.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet.